Good afternoon, Chair and members. Today I'm here to present AB 1755, which is a bill that aims to eliminate the 100-hour rule penalty, and which is an outdated policy from the 1950s that has no place in a state that claims to value work, dignity, and economic justice. So let us be clear about what this policy will actually correct. So currently, right now, to put it simple, if a family works over 100 hours in a month, they are automatically disqualified for CalWORKs. It punishes working people. It is rooted in the false and harmful idea that the low-income families should be able to survive on part-time work, and if they try to do more, then they should be cut off from that support. That logic of working 100 hours was wrong then, and it's, of course, wrong now, especially in a state with one of the highest cost of living within its nation. Currently, California is one of the only 4 states still enforcing this type of rule alongside Kentucky, Mississippi, and South Dakota. So we pride ourselves on leading, but on this issue, we are way behind. So we took a step towards addressing this issue last year through my bill, Assembly Bill 1324. But while that effort was ultimately vetoed due to the cost concerns, the need for the reform still hasn't changed. Therefore, I decided to break that bill down to what we have today. If anything, it has become even more urgent. This bill reflects a more targeted approach, but it also carries the same core principle that our policy should support work and not punish it. In practice, this policy forces families into the impossible choices. And so basically saying that when you work more hours and lose the assistance that actually keeps a roof over your head, or work less and remain trapped in poverty, that is not a pathway to self-sufficiency. That is a policy failure. So let's think about the message that we are currently sending. So when we think about the federal government and how it's demanding 80 hours work requirement in this program, but the 100-hour rule punishes you for working too much. So when families lose CalWORK support abruptly, they are more likely to face housing instability, rely on emergency services, and also cycle through more costly systems like homelessness services, child welfare, and also crisis health care. So just to kind of wrap this up a little bit here, I just want you to know that if we are serious about equity and about supporting working families and about being and having a responsible government, then we need to start acting now. And so this bill is about choosing people over outdated policies. It is about rewarding work and not punishing it. And it is about making a smarter investment that saves the state money over time. And with that, I do respectfully ask for your aye vote, but to provide witness testimony as well. In support today, I have Ms. Rebecca Gonzalez, Policy Advocate for Western Center on Law and Poverty, but also Andrew Shane, which is the Managing Director for County Welfare Directors Association of California. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. 2 minutes each to your witness, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Rebecca Gonzalez, and I'm a policy advocate with the Western Center on Law and Poverty. We're a co-sponsor of this bill as part of the Reimagine CalWORKs Coalition, which also includes SEIU, County Welfare Directors Association, End Child Poverty California, Coalition of California Welfare Rights Organizations, Parent Voices, and the California Partnership to End Domestic Violence. It's time we stop punishing CalWORKs working families. This bill would strike current law, which provides that a primary wage-earning parent in a 2-parent family must work less than 100 hours per month for the family to be eligible for CalWORKs, even if otherwise they are needy and income eligible for the program. The 100-hour rule policy assumes that working an average of 25 hours a week can generate enough income for a parent to provide for that family, and further assumes the family's income is above the eligibility threshold in CalWORKs, known as the minimum basic standard of adequate care. The old welfare rule, known as the work penalty, was adopted after the welfare reform era of the 1990s. It was based on assumptions about sufficiency of income from hours worked, which can be incorrect, and which has served no good purpose but to punish hardworking families, discourage work, and harm children who are poor. As stated by the author, California is an outlier by still having this policy. It is inhumane to subject impoverished families to this bureaucratic rule when good government dictates that we treat them fairly, give them the services and supports they need, and judge them based on facts about their economic sufficiency. More importantly, policies like these put families at risk of homelessness. It is for these reasons the Western Center on Law and Poverty is pleased to co-sponsor this bill, and I'm also expressing support from the Lutheran Office of Public Policy and the Women's Foundation. We respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. All right,
Thank
next
you, Chair
witness,
Lee
please.
and members. Thank you to Dr. Sharp-Collins for your leadership of this legislation that simplifies and streamlines access to CalWORKs, our bedrock safety net for children and families. Counties see the impact of this policy in practice and the revolving door it causes for families. We know that a substantial number of families are denied assistance because of this rule. And the situation in which it happens is very clear. Families have been working, they lose their job, they're experiencing crisis, and yet are denied because of this outdated policy, pushing them only deeper into crisis. So not only does that not make sense, as Dr. Sharp-Collins laid out, it actually contradicts the efforts that are being put in place that would then punish families for actually working too much, yet making so little and denying them from assistance. So we also urge your aye vote, and thank you so much for this legislation.
All right, thank you very much. Now, do we have members of the public who wish to testify in support of the bill? Please come up to the microphone.
Mr. Chair, members, Tiffany Whiten with SEIU California, co-sponsor and in proud support. Thank you.
Koisei Turn with the Coalition of California Welfare Rights Organization, proud co-sponsor and support.
Yesenia Robancho with End Child Poverty in California, co-sponsor and strong support. Thank you.
Bindu Makamala, Policy Manager with the National Association of Social Workers California chapter in strong support.
Josh Wright with the California Association of Food Banks in support.
Thank you. Now, do we have any primary witnesses in opposition to the bill? Please come forward. Any members of the public who wish to testify in opposition to the bill, please come forward to the microphone. Seeing and hearing none, I will bring it back to the committee for questions and comments. Assemblymember Tangipa, yes, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just wanted to first and foremost say thank you to the author of this bill. Some of you may know that I was raised on a lot of these programs, and I often share with friends, colleagues of mine, that I was caught by the social safety net, and I have lived a life that I could never imagine, especially being here in the state legislature from 10 years ago, being homeless. My family living in low-income housing and the house getting red tagged and then having the opportunity to help them purchase a home. But this is something that we've talked about often, where sometimes the systems that we have in place here in California almost perpetuate poverty because we are incentivizing people not to do more to help pull yourselves out. I think about the situation with a family member of mine, got pregnant when she was a teenager, and she would tell me that I can't get married because I will lose my benefits. He works too much, and it would be too hard for us. And I think about that often because I told him, no, you will get married. We're going to work as a family. We're all going to make sure that we could take care of our family, and we're going to be better for it. But it was a struggle, and it was a hard period for a lot of people who went through that, because once they simply work too much, they're immediately cut off and dropped, and it feels very lonely if you don't have a village with you. Those two individuals now are married and make a joint income of over $300,000 and take care of theirs. But there are certain things that we can do, like support this bill, to help those families that want to leave abject, extreme poverty and do better for them. And I think that's what we're supposed to do. If we're a state like California, where we are the richest state in the richest country in the history of the world, we can do better. And I just wanted to thank the author for this bill. If she's looking for any bipartisan co-authorship, I would love to join on. And I move the bill.
All right, any other questions or comments? Well, I couldn't put it better than Assemblymember Tangipa, but it is true. We do live in the richest state in the richest country in the world, in the history of the world, and yet more people are working longer hours than they ever have. In fact, productivity has never been higher than it is in the history of mankind, and yet the wages and income of workers has gone down in comparison. So it is no surprise that people work longer hours and more jobs just to survive, right? But really, we want to make sure that people are incentivized and have the right systems in place to climb up in the socioeconomic ladder. And so this is an important bill. I would love to join as a joint author again with you, as I did in the last bill last year, and hopefully this time we'll get all the way and get the signature. So I'll invite the author to close now.
Thank you. No, thank you. I'll just keep it short and also simple, and just thank everyone for the opportunity to be here to present. Thank you to my witnesses, and this is the opportunity today for us to actually correct this. And so with that, I would like to respectfully ask for your aye vote.